Welcome to Albany, capital of the state of New York, where every spring the SOMOS Conference brings together community and leadership to discuss issues of importance for the Latino community and to search for solutions. BronxNet is here in the house at the state capitol to bring you highlights of SOMOS 2023. Please join us. And here we are with our very own Assembly member, Karinés Reyes, chairwoman of the Puerto Rican Hispanic Task Force of the New York State Legislature, which is the committee, the caucus, that actually hosts the SOMOS Conference. And this is your first year as chairwoman. Please tell me, how do you feel?
I'm very excited. Of course, it's a lot of work.
You must be tired.
I'm very tired, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because we're kind of doing this during the time that we're also negotiating the budget, but it's important for us to do it now because the purpose and the work of the task force body is to really impact policy and the budget to address Latino issues. And we want to make sure that we are having the conversation before the final budget so that we could really make that impact in the final document.
In becoming the chairperson of the conference, what was it that you would like to bring or that you wanted to bring in preparation for this weekend?
Well, one thing that I thought was important to me was to bring diversity and the diversity of the Latino community. And that's something that we've tried to kind of really intertwine throughout the festivities and conversations that we're having throughout the weekend. So, for example, yesterday we had our welcome reception in our opening event.
First day of the exhibit,
our first day
of the conference.
Our first welcome reception, the first event, we had a Garifuna group presenting and talked about how the Garifunas are the first Black group that never really experienced slavery. And they're, Spanish speaking from South America, oftentimes unseen and unspoken about when we talk about the Latino community. So we really wanted to really impart that in the work of this weekend, highlighting the diverse experiences of the Latino community and how the work of the legislature should really go hand in hand with the communities and the Latino communities in New York.
In over 30 years of the conference, people might wonder, do we still need a conference such as SOMOS?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the issues change every year, right? And the idea is to impact policy. And we have 30 workshops today going on that talk about different policies, whether it be Latino participation in the new cannabis market, MWBEs and having Latino-run businesses be able to get governmental contracts. We're talking about the new asylum seeker crisis. We're talking about language access. We're talking about equal pay for Latino women who are still making 54 cents to the dollar to our white male counterparts. All of those issues are still issues that impact the Latino community, and this conference is the forum for us to have those conversations so that we can move forward with a plan and an agenda to impact policy.
And this conference is open to everyone. You do not have to be in politics. You do not have to work in government, right?
Absolutely. It's open to everyone who registers. We have some events that are ticketed, of course, because we need the resources to be able to put up the event. But we have community members that come up for the workshops. We also had a senior summit yesterday where we had buses of seniors from all over the city of New York come here and interact with legislators, also take part in some of the festivities, but also have an opportunity to interface with governmental agencies that were here throughout the day. I
have spoken to a few people on the ground here in Albany who had never been to the state capitol, had never been to this area. They had no idea where the laws were made.
Correct.
And SOMOS is bringing them and showing them what the process is like. Do you have any feelings about that?
Yes, I think that really the work that happens here is the work of the people. I serve in the assembly, which we call the People's House, and for us it's important to make sure that we open our doors to the community. People should see what we do here, should see what the Capitol looks like. This is their space as much as it is ours, and the work that we do here is in their name. So we welcome folks to come up here. We encourage people to participate in this process because without them, we are lost, right? We want to make sure that their voices are incorporated. And hopefully next year, as more people get wind of this conference, more people will start to participate and take part.
Thank you, Assemblywoman, and congratulations on a great weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
More from Somos 2023 at the State Capitol. Here I am with Francisco Diaz, Chairperson of SOMOS Inc., the not-for-profit organization that organizes the SOMOS Conference at the State Capitol. Hello, Francisco.
Hola, Javier. It's always a pleasure to see you. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon in Albany. We coordinate, as you know, and manage in cooperation with the New York State, Puerto Rican, Hispanic Task Force. And Karinés, our chairwoman, is amazing. So we're excited.
Tell me why, about the importance of the SOMOS Conference. It's been more than 30 years now.
Absolutely. As you know, our founders, Angelo del Toro, Hector Diaz, Jose Rivera, Jose Serrano, Dalmaceda, they were the founders and the originators, and we continue to build the institution to work closely with the task force under the leadership of the chairwoman. Our mission, as you know, is to raise money for scholarships for high school students.
And how is that going? I know you have a big gala that is going to be on the Saturday evening schedule of the conference.
Correct. And we are expecting close to 1,000 people. Frankie Negron is going to be playing music. KR3T is doing their performance. And it's going extremely well. And we hope to give out some awards and scholarships to students. And we're working closely with CUNY and SUNY. And the Puerto Rican Youth Leadership Institute. That's another entity.
In terms of organizing the conference, Francisco, what have you orchestrated new for 2023?
So this year, the vision of our chairwoman, Karinés Reyes, is harnessing the power of diversity. So I think what we're doing is showing that collectively that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. When we all come together as Latinos in the state of New York, we then have the influence to impact the budgetary process, legislative process, and we can bring resource into the communities that our members represent. So I think we've put an emphasis on that. We're trying to create as many workshops as possible to talk about the subject matters important, support the mock sessions for the students, because they are our future leaders.
In over 30 years of life at the State Capitol, you are a former legislator yourself.
Don't remind me.
Yes, I remember.
1995, Angelo del Toro passed away and I replaced him.
Oh, wow.
Who was then the chair of the Education Committee. Also, the one of the founders who negotiated with the speaker, then Mel Miller, to create the New York State Puerto Rican Task Force.
Since then, Francisco, has the purpose of, or the role of SOMOS as a conference, as a platform, changed in any way? Or is it still changing?
I think what we're seeing is that we're unifying our message, right? And I think that's resonating because you're increasing the membership of the task force members who are some non-Latino, but have 15% or more of a Hispanic population in their districts. So we're bringing them in so that there's more unity amongst the other members who are not of Hispanic descent, but who nonetheless represent our population.
Thank you, Francisco, for your time today. Congratulations on a great SOMOS, and we'll see you around. A signature of the SOMOS conference is, of course, the workshops. Workshops discussing issues of importance to local communities in the Bronx and throughout the state. And now we have with us one of the participants in one of those workshops. And I'm talking about Dr. Kai Smith, the founder of Graphics. Hello, Kai.
How are you?
Doctor, the workshop you were a part of was called Blueprint to Stop School Violence. Right, please tell me about it.
This was a breakout group, and the primary focus was creative ways to address school violence through the arts. And it was chaired by Assemblyman Adia and State Senator Zelno Myrie. And anytime you get elected officials that are passionate about reducing gun violence in communities and reducing overall violence in schools, it's always a good thing. It was the very first breakout session of the morning, and we had 75% capacity, so it was really good. We had a significant number of kids come out, and it was really interesting.
So that people watching can understand, what is this current situation with school violence?
Wow. It's really hard to put your fingerprint on the current situation with school violence outside of saying that it has gotten to the point where it is grossly out of control. It seems as if right here, well, it seems as if in the city of New York, and I understand that this is BronxNet, but it seems as if in the city of New York, there's an incident of violence occurring in a middle school or a high school almost every day. And something needs to be done to stop. Something more needs to be done to stop it. There are community-based organizations out there like Graphics that have been extremely successful at this work for 2 decades. I think that what needs to occur is more focus and more attention needs to be placed on those programs that have been doing the work, that have a successful timeline for doing the work, versus the mayor and other individuals spending the significant portion of their time focused on copy and paste programs.
What other solutions were discussed in the workshop?
Reducing school violence through the arts. There's a phenomenal program where young adults go into schools and they challenge volatile students to channel their energy through the art of dance. And one of the choreographers for that program is a gentleman that was recently in Lin-Manuel's most recent movie, The Heights. And this organization has done works with Jennifer Lopez and Rihanna, and they participated and done some work with the Super Bowl. And so it's a phenomenal program, and they brought a significant number of young people. And so, you know, we need to focus more time and more energy on those programs that have been embarrassingly ignored, that have done consistent work in spite of being ignored. And so I think that this conference, and especially this breakout room, gave the platform for those individuals to exhibit who they are and what they do.
Doctor, in the last few seconds that we've got, I know you have a very personal story about why you got involved in issues of violence. Can you tell me about that? And you founded Graphics.
Right. So I am the founding executive director of Graphics. I designed this program while I was in prison. I'm one of the formerly incarcerated. I currently have 6 felonies. I've served a total of 16 years of prison, 9 years in New York, 5 years in Virginia, and 2 years in South Carolina. And I came home on a mission. While I designed the program in prison, I came home on a mission to do everything in my power to try to correct the wrongs that I personally made in my community. Today I have almost 6 college degrees, you know, and the program that I wrote in prison has been doing phenomenal works in maybe about 5 or 6 different states throughout the past 20 years. And it's a labor of love. It gave me the opportunity to, as I said, with the dance group, it gave me the opportunity to be creative. I was a creative criminal, which got me 6 felonies. So it gave me the opportunity to design a program in prison and come home and secure the education that I needed in order to take that creativity and turn it into something positive to do good for the community.
It is remarkable the importance of second chances.
Second chances, third chances, but it all revolves around good quality programming, right? It all revolves around good quality program. We have an ex-offender reentry program. We have a pre-release service program. So it all revolves around good programming, good resources, and accountability.
Dr. Kai Smith, founder of Graphics, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
More from Somos El Futuro at the State Capitol. Between the State Capitol building and the Legislative Office building complex, there is a big underground corridor that every year during the SOMOS conference becomes an exhibit hall where dozens of government agencies, companies, and not-for-profit organizations showcase their resources for all community to see. Let's check it out. And here at booth 44 this year, we have the New York State Office of Addiction Services and Support. And who's with us today?
So I am Jeanette Rondo, Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Office of Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion.
Soraya Diaz, the Downstate Regional Office Director.
And Carmelita Cruz, the Equity Officer.
Now, Jeanette, you're from the Bronx, but you live in Albany. Tell me your story briefly.
Very briefly, so I came up to SUNY Albany, beautiful school. Anybody from the Bronx, come up to SUNY Albany. It's a great place. And I transitioned into government at a young age. I've been in government for 29 years in different positions, as an appointee for 4 governors, in the Senate, and now here at OASAS.
Now, why is it important for you and for the agency to be represented at SOMOS 2023?
I think the importance of being here is, one, we are here. Our agency is inclusive. It's for us, it's about sending a message about prevention, treatment, harm reduction, and recovery services. And it's about getting the word out that OASAS is here to help in the process of recovery, and that recovery lives in our community and in all community for New York State.
What services does the agency provide?
So we provide prevention, treatment, harm reduction, and recovery services. So we have 12 addiction treatment centers throughout the state. We have over 1,000+ providers that do addiction services. And, our main goal here is to reach out to the Latino community and let them know that we have services for them. We definitely don't want language to be a barrier or an obstacle. So it's important that they know, that we have like a hope line where they can call, and if they are bilingual, they can speak, to someone on the hope line and get treatment services. And it's there to not just help the person with an addiction, but also the family, because it's a process for everybody.
What do you think is the importance of SOMOS as a platform to bring exhibits like this, where dozens of organizations can showcase their services?
Well, look, having the task force is so important for the Latino community. I think bringing us all together, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Ecuadorians, Colombians, Salvadorians, Venezuelans, everybody from the spectrum of Latinos is important. And for us to come together and talk about the issues that impact our community and come up with solutions is necessary. And also to show the state that we have leaders in government that are here fighting for us, that we have leadership in agencies that are fighting to benefit us.
Do you have any thoughts on the timeliness of the work you do, given what's happening around the nation with the opioids crisis, all that's happening?
Absolutely. I think that we're still losing people every day, one person every 3 hours to overdoses. So definitely it's about getting the message out. It's about extending ourselves and making sure that people are connected to the system, whether they're ready for treatment, whether they need harm reduction services, whether it's prevention, whether it's education, treatment, community collaboration, whatever it is, there's a place for anyone and everyone that is experiencing anything on the spectrum of addiction services, or even if they're interested. So it's not just about one person. We're also working with everyone that needs the services or anyone that's interested.
Thank you for joining us. We will continue the walk of the exhibit. I know we lost you because you had to go straight to the guests. We will talk at some point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Continuing our walkthrough of the Concourse exhibit at SOMOS 2023, we have booth 19 that this year is occupied by the Bronx Educational Center for Opportunities by the State University of New York. And who do we have here with us?
Ronnie Hector, Executive Director.
Maria Torres, Medical Assistant Student.
Evelyn Alvarez, Medical Assistant Student.
Ronnie, please tell me about the center.
Sure. The Bronx EOC is one of 12 EOCs throughout the state, run by the State University of New York, and we provide workforce development and career development programs, certificates for communities, underserved communities, and so we are very, very happy to be able to do that in New York.
What is the importance of a program like this, given the current economics of the world, when people are looking at certificates and training that is alternative to 4-year colleges or 2-year colleges that can get them on the way to making a very good living without putting all these years in education?
Definitely. So what we do at the Bronx EOC and what we do at all the EOC, looking to do at all the EOCs is do career pathways. So we do stackable credentials based on that, based on certificates. So we'll take one program, you start there, and then we add another program, and that always uplift the person economically and socially as well. So we know that everyone don't have the time to go to college or don't have the funds to go to college, but with these stackable credentials, they could be sustainable economically and make a really good living.
Maria and Evelyn are both students in the program, and you're both currently about to get your certificates. Certificates in nursing?
Medical assistant.
medical assistant.
And you are now in the process of completing your internship.
Yes, that's correct.
Please tell me, what made you go for this program?
Originally, I started because I have a child that gets sick a lot, so I wanted to learn about the medical field. But now I like it so much that I want to incorporate work and employment in it, in the field.
How about you, Evelyn?
I'm going into nursing, so this was like a step up from nursing until the semester starts.
What does it mean for SUNY, the State University of New York, and the Bronx Center specifically, to be here at SOMOS?
Oh, it means a lot. Our population in most of our EOCs, we have a very high Hispanic population, Latinx population. So we are always looking at how we could serve our communities better. And as those communities grow and change in complexity, we want to make sure that we are on the forefront, being there to be able to support them and make sure that their families grow and develop and have the American dream.
What type of certificates do you offer besides medical assistance?
We offer EMT, emergency tech, for the ambulances. We offer also certified nursing assistant, which is for the nursing homes. We offer basic education programs as well, ESL programs as well, to support people. So people can start from ESL and go all the way and become a medical assistant. We are also doing patient care technicians. We just added that program. That is a career pathway program from those people who are starting as CNAs into becoming PCTs. So now they have 4 certificates instead of 1.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And good luck with the studies.
Thank you.
More from the state capital, Somos 2023. A main goal of the SOMOS conference is to teach communities how government processes works, how laws are debated and approved, and how decisions are made at the state capitol. As part of that tradition, every year, the conference organizes reenactments of legislative sessions in which community and students get together and they reenact, they simulate how the government process and the legislative process works. Right behind this door, there's one legislative session reenacted, ongoing right now, hosted by students of the City University of New York and organized by Bronx Senator Gustavo Rivera. Let's take a look. Senator Gustavo Rivera from the Bronx. I have been sitting at the gallery watching the mock legislative session going on, and I've seen you very busy down there. Please explain to us, what is this event?
Well, this is the Model Senate session. This is the 25th anniversary. We're celebrating 25 years of this mock session. And just so you understand, the first time that I actually walked into that legislative chamber was as a faculty member of this program back in 2000. I was teaching college at SUNY, at Hunter College at the time, and I was asked by a gentleman by the name of Edward T. Rogowski, who has since passed away, but he was a mentor, and he asked me to be a part of the faculty of the program. So we trained some CUNY and SUNY students for a couple of weeks, and then they come and they sit on our chairs, and they debate a bill on the floor of the Senate. So as I remind the students, the first time that I walked in here was as a faculty member, and now I have a chair in there that has my name on it. And I say that not to pat myself on the back, but to remind them that this might be their first instance entering this chamber, but that they might want to think about life in public service and a work in public service, whether it's sitting in the chairs or on the side as staff members who help us get our job done.
I hadn't seen one in years, one of these sessions, and revisiting it again after all these years, it is so real. I mean, it's very difficult to tell that this is a simulation of the process. And they are actually very engaged, and they're actively debating in an intelligent way.
And saying some stuff that's kind of, I want to get into debate with some of these folks, because we're debating the Equal Rights Amendment, and there's some very strong opinions by some of the folks who are playing Republican senators, because we tell them they're not playing us. They're not. If the person who sits on the 33rd district, right, has been assigned the 33rd district, doesn't play me. They are that senator, that person who was elected in the 33rd district, and so the folks who are Republicans here, who are in part of the Republican conference, are making some arguments that I want to get in there and I want to debate them. So it's a great opportunity for them, again, not only to get a glimpse of policy making, but also to take an opportunity to take an opposite view. You know, many times on issues like this, certainly for me, it's easy to say I would be absolutely voting for the Equal Rights Amendment, and most of the folks here would probably do the same, but having them take a different position and kind of trying to understand where that position comes from is incredibly useful to just, to understanding how policy making actually works.
Why is it important, Senator, that when you look at the amalgam of events that SOMOS offers every year, besides the launches, the workshops, the receptions, why is it important to keep this event alive?
This is my favorite one. It's my favorite one.
It's actually very fun.
It's actually the one I care about the most because it's when I came up here in 2000 for the first time, it was to this program, and then I became kind of enamored with SOMOS and with state government, et cetera, et cetera. It's important because it is a glimpse for all these young people on what it is that we do in policymaking. What do we do in this beautiful building? What do we do on their behalf and on behalf of the rest of New Yorkers? And so it's a great opportunity for them to get a sense, this is maybe something that I want to do. Maybe I want to do a policy maybe I want to be a lawmaker. Maybe I want to be making policy. Maybe I want to help get people elected. So it's a great opportunity. So for me, it is absolutely something that's essential, and I hope that we do for a very, very long time.
A lot of people in the 5 boroughs have never been to Albany. They do not know how the process is made up here. How does it make you feel to have events like this where community from the gallery and student participants can be introduced to the legislative process with a hands-on experience?
It makes me think that this is a great opportunity for them to think about how do we actually get to do this, how do they do it, how they might want to do it in the future.
Thank you, Senator. Continuamos. We continue with SOMOS 2023. The SOMOS conference, named after the Spanish language verb for we are, lasts 3 days at the state capitol. It would be impossible to bring you all that happens just in a 30-minute program. Nonetheless, here are a few highlights of 2023's conference. Thank you for joining us for this 30-minute special showing you highlights of this year's conference. Next is the SOMOS Winter Conference 2023 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. To stay in touch about other SOMOS conference events year-round, make sure to check out their website, somosnewyork.org. See you soon.